Let me paint a scenario for you. There are 4 players left alive. The circle is no bigger than 500 meters, and you have more dirt on your clothes than the average coal miner from crawling on the ground. Suddenly you hear shots coming from the west, then the kill feed pops up. 3 players left. The circle gets even smaller as you are still crawling, trying to avoid detection from the remaining players. You take cover in a bush just as you see another player to the south. You take the shot. Two players left. It is now you against the last player. Everything you have done has led to this very moment. You now know exactly where the last player is hiding, so you lie in wait hoping to catch them off guard. Then, just as you think you have them on lock, just when you think you have it in the bag, I'm your host, Stump Daddy, and in this video, I want to share my experience coming back to PUBG Mobile after about 5 years. Now, as a content creator, I want to be more than just a one-trick pony. I want to challenge myself to be a better content creator, and that includes adding more games to my repertoire. And with Apex Legends shooting for a soft launch this year, I plan to expand my game library to more than just Critical Ops. I'm thinking of switching games every month, so there is a little something for everyone. So make sure you don't miss out, and make sure you are subscribed with notifications turned on. It helps out the channel a ton, and it helps recommend my videos to more viewers. We are so close to getting 4K subs, and with your help we can achieve that goal and then some. And be sure to comment down below and let me know how you guys are doing. I really do read all of your comments. And without further ado, let's get into PUBG Mobile. Now, I have played PUBG Mobile before, but that was a while ago. And 5 years is a long time to not do something, especially in video game terms. Games nowadays have regular updates that constantly change the way the game is played, and PUBG is no exception to that. The thing that I do not like coming back is that there are so many events going on at the same time. So many collectibles, challenges, items, it's almost impossible to keep them all straight. It is also overwhelming to keep track of so many different things, especially for newer players, like me. I never thought I would say that. Anyways, just because I haven't played the game in 5 years doesn't mean I have forgotten the basics of battle royales. And in my first 2 games coming back, I scored a 19 and 13 kill win respectively. After that, I've just been placing in the top 10 with the occasional hiccup here and there. I guess I have my experience with Critical Ops to thank for that. But even though the game is changing, with the different events, the core gameplay is still the same. Likewise, my strategy is still the same as it was 5 years ago, camping and catching players off guard. In my last live stream, you have seen this strategy in action, and I plan to explain my strategy to you here in this video, starting with the pre-drop. While on Spawn Island, I check to see where the plane is going to fly, so I can plan accordingly. While looking at the map, I check to see which towns are going to be the closest to the plane path and which ones are within a reasonable dropping distance, so that way I don't end up in an overcrowded area and end up getting picked off by a random player in a different building. For me, what I have found is that if an area that I have marked is within 15 to 1600 meters, I'll always go there. There's not too many people to worry about, but just enough to get the blood flowing with the first few kills. And once I'm in the plane, it's time to drop. As I am falling to my destination, I am constantly looking for other players that are dropping with me, so that I can have an idea on how many players are going to be there in that area. Once I hit the ground, it is time to loot, and to loot fast. There's definitely other players with me, so I need to find a gun as soon as possible. It doesn't matter if it's a pistol or a shotgun, I need a weapon so I have a better chance at surviving. And usually this ends up with me getting 4 to 6 kills with the first circle forming. After the majority of the players have been dealt with, I continue looting the other buildings for healing items, ammo, and better weapons. I typically run with a SCAR-L and UMP-45, but if I can't find any of those off the bat, I just use what I can until I find one off of another player's body. As soon as the storm starts rolling in, I will try to find a vehicle and move to the center of the circle, or compound that is relatively close to the center, and camp in the first building I see. After that, it's just a waiting game, looking for unsuspecting players that are not paying attention to pick off until the next circle forms. From there, it's rinse and repeat as the circle keeps forming. The storm rolls in, find the new center, and wait. The only reason I have not finished is due to my lack of mechanics when it comes to aiming. I will say this, PUBG is one of the most realistic battle royale games out there. That also includes bullet physics, which is something you do not have to worry about in Critical Ops, which I have usually played. This is due to a game mechanic called hit scan, but in PUBG, you don't have hit scan. You have bullet drop and bullet speed, which can make you miss if you are not careful. Also, the recoil doesn't automatically reset after you take one shot. Instead, what it does is it sticks above where you just shot and stays there until you adjust it. And there is no upper limit to the recoil of any gun. It continues to move up until your clip runs out of bullets. Even after you reload, the crosshair will not reset. And you know what? That's totally fine. PUBG is about being a realistic shooter game, while Critical Ops is more of an advanced arcade-style shooter, whatever you want to call it. And not pulling down after every time you shoot just adds more realism to the game. However, it is this realism that hinders my ability to pull out chicken dinners every single time I play. You can see I have more top 2 finishes than I do in any other match that I have played. So while the aiming mechanics are still a bit fuzzy for me, it's not the only reason why I have a hard time pulling out a win. Spotting players is a completely different challenge for me, especially when I'm used to smaller, more confined maps. One thing I have noticed while playing is during the late game, when there's about 5 to 10 players left, I just ignore the gunfights. Sure, you can ignore the earlier gunfights, but the late game gunfights are the one you have to worry about. These can give you vital information as to the whereabouts of the other players, and can give you an edge in knowing how to position yourself to take these players on. I can't tell you how many times so far that I have died due to poor positioning, because I was not thinking about the gunfight that went down earlier. Instead, I am tunnel visioning onto an area where there was a gunfight 10 minutes ago. And it is because of this that I tend to get jump scared whenever there's a gunshot that goes off close to me. This is something that I've been trying to work on and getting better at, but the most difficult thing is spotting out the players in the first place. With all the tall grass, the foliage, and great distances to cover, if you don't know what you were looking for, you are more likely to be the spotted instead of being the spotter. The first thing that I always look for is movement, because trees, grass, and rocks don't move, but players do. Also, players have a unique color palette when compared to the natural surroundings, so it is easier to spot a player from a greater distance when their outfits don't match the landscape. And while I've been playing, I have noticed something. When I am the last player in a match, both of us are crawling, obviously. So because of the way the camera works in PUBG, you can only look down so far before the game stops you. I found that if I stand up while the other player is crawling, I can spot them out much better than if I was just crawling, like they were. I also have an easier time aiming at them since I don't have to guess where they are anymore. It's because of this that recently I have won matches that fell into this scenario. But I don't think standing up is the best strategy outside of this very specific scenario. Any other time, and I could easily get picked off by another player I have not seen yet. But regardless, the most important thing to remember is to be patient. When you're in those last 2 or 3 or 4 circles, you have no idea where anyone is going to be. So when you are certain about the last player's position, it is better to finish them off before they can finish you. Or they could be wearing a ghillie suit and can just throw you off, because it's nearly impossible to pick out a player from a distance while they are wearing said ghillie suit. Although I might not win every single game or get the most kills in a match, the most important thing that I could take away from playing PUBG is that I have fun doing so. Whenever I hop into a new match, I'm not expecting to win. Heck, I'm not expecting to make the top 10. In fact, I'm not expecting anything at all. The only thing that I'm planning to do in that match and any other match that comes after that is that I play to the best of my ability. When I play with no expectations, I find that I don't get as mad when I am picked off earlier in the match. And when I do get that winner chicken dinner, it is so much more satisfying. I think this has something to do with the fact that I have not played this game in so long that I am expecting myself to lose. Either way, at the end of the day, PUBG is a game, and games are made to be fun. If you're not having fun while playing the game, forget about the score. Forget about anything else. Just play. And let me know down in the comments about your experience in PUBG or what you thought about today's video. I do read your comments and I appreciate any feedback you could give me. I also would like it if you would subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any more awesome videos like this. I also have my social media pages linked in the description, so feel free to check those out as well. And with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, stay safe. Bye bye.